When I found out that my miscarriage could cause a type of cancer, I was absolutely shocked. I had never even heard of a partial molar pregnancy before. One minute I was grieving a miscarriage, and the next minute I was worrying that a miscarriage was going to be dangerous to my health. Let me walk you through what a partial molar pregnancy is, why it requires such close follow up, and what my personal experience looked like. Hi, I'm Jacqueline. I'm the co founder of Matriva, and I'm here to do this with you. Let's start with the absolute basics. What is a partial molar pregnancy? A partial molar pregnancy is when two sperms successfully fertilize one egg. Your typical embryo will have 46 chromosomes, 23 from the male and 23 from the female. In the case of a partial molar pregnancy, the male has contributed 23 sets of chromosomes twice, and the embryo has 69 chromosomes. 69 chromosomes is not a pregnancy that will be compatible or viable moving forward, and ultimately the pregnancy will not be successful. In many cases, you don't know anything is wrong at the beginning. Your HCG will be rising. You'll probably go for a couple of scans and there'll be a heartbeat, but something along the way doesn't start to add up. In my case, I found out through NIPT testing and a follow-up scan at around 12 weeks. There are many other ways that you can determine this information. I wanted to share my personal story of a partial molar pregnancy and what happened to me. I had just experienced my first miscarriage and successfully got pregnant not that long after that. Everything seemed to be going well. I had had 2 scans. There was heartbeats in both scans, and the fetus seemed to be progressing as it should. I opted to do NIPT testing around the 9-week mark, which is non-invasive prenatal testing. And the blood work came back with either triploidy or vanishing twin syndrome. The blood work could not identify which of the two it was, so I would have to have gone in for a follow-up scan to determine which it was. In the case of vanishing twin syndrome, what could have happened is that in early scans, the ultrasound tech maybe missed a second twin, and therefore the reason why my blood work was showing up with such a high level of chromosomes or such a high level of HCG as well was because at one point there was a twin pregnancy and no longer. Or the alternative is that it was a triploidy pregnancy, meaning there was just too many chromosomes altogether, and we would have to use a scan to figure that out. So I went for a scan the next day, and in that scan determined that there was no heartbeat, and the pregnancy didn't look as though it was going to be viable as well. This was around the 12-week mark. So through this, I was able to get a DNC completed, and it was through the DNC pathology that I really pushed to get tested on. It came back as a partial molar pregnancy. So what this entailed from that point forward was that I had to go for weekly blood draws every single week until my HCG levels went back to 5 or below. I started at 18,000. So in the moment, I was like, how long is this going to take? This feels like it's going to be for forever. It ended up being 8 weeks of weekly blood draws. I went in every Thursday. In the first 4 weeks, I went from 18,000 to 62. And then in the next 4 weeks, I went from 62 to 4, so below 5. At that point, I then had to wait a whole month, go back for another blood draw to determine if my HCG levels had stayed at 0. In my case, they did. I will get into in more detail why you need to go for weekly blood draws, why you have to wait, and why you can't get pregnant during this time. So the reason why you have to wait to get pregnant and go for weekly blood draws after a partial molar is because the molar tissue can keep growing in the uterus even after the pregnancy ends. And if that tissue continues to grow and multiply within the uterus, the cells can actually turn into a form of cancer. So doctors aren't being overly cautious. They are ensuring that your health is number one. During this time, the number one thing advised is that you do not get pregnant. I know that's really hard to hear because you don't really want to be waiting this long in most cases. You don't want to wait until it goes to 0. You want to keep trying. You want to conceive again. But it's extremely important for the health of yourself that you wait until your HCG levels reach 5. This is because should you choose not to wait and you have another pregnancy, doctors cannot tell if the HCG is rising from a new healthy pregnancy or the cells are multiplying and rising from any molar tissue left within. So it's crucial that you do wait to try until your HCG levels have reached 0. You've waited that month, and then you're in the clear to try again. It's for the best. I know it feels really painful to wait even longer, but in the long run, it's better for everybody. Everybody is different when it comes to how long it takes HCG levels to drop. In my case, I was cleared within 4 months. In most cases, it takes 3 to 6 months for HCG levels to drop to 0, wait the month, and then be at 0 again. It does depend on how far along you were in your pregnancy when the triploidy or when the partial molar was discovered and how long it takes for HCG levels to get back to baseline. It's a really painful waiting process. It's emotionally long. It's emotionally draining to sit in limbo. If this is you right now, you're in the wait, you've been freshly diagnosed, I just want you to know that you are not alone. A partial molar pregnancy is a real loss and it's complicated. It's scary and it often feels like no one else understands what you're going through, but know that I do and this community does. There is a whole load of support that you probably didn't even know existed out there, but when you find somebody else that has been through it, know that we're here for you. If you've had a partial molar pregnancy or you're in one right now, drop a comment below. This is the best community to grow and to be a part of. If you're looking for support as you process your miscarriage, know that we have a load of free resources for you, and we have our full miscarriage support program to guide you along the way. It's linked below.